Pixel Sonic Stories.
Hey there, folks. Have you ever felt like life just threw you a curveball that you couldn't possibly hit? Well, let me tell you about Wallace Johnson, a guy who not only hit that curveball, but knocked it right out of the park. This story is going to blow your mind and maybe, just maybe, change the way you look at setbacks forever. So, picture this. Wallace, just an ordinary guy like you and me, spent most of his life working in a carpentry shop. I mean, we're talking decades here. This wasn't just a job for Wallace. It was his lifeline. He built his entire world around this gig, supporting his family, paying the bills, the whole shebang. It was as stable as it gets, or so he thought. Now here's where things get crazy. Wallace hits the big 4-0 and bam. Out of nowhere, he gets the boot from his carpentry job. Can you imagine? 40 years old with a family to feed, and suddenly the rug gets pulled out from under him. It was like a punch to the gut, leaving him winded and wondering, what the heck am I supposed to do now? But here's the thing, folks. Wallace, he's not the kind of guy to just roll over and give up. Nope, not our Wallace. Instead of wallowing in self-pity, which, let's be honest, we've all done at some point, he decides to do something absolutely bonkers. He looks at his house, the roof over his family's head, and thinks, hey, I could use this as collateral to start a business. I know what you're thinking. Is this guy crazy? Maybe a little. But sometimes it's the crazy ideas that change everything. Wallace takes this massive risk and builds 2 houses. Just like that, he goes from carpenter to builder. And guess what? He sells those houses. It's like he found a hidden talent he never knew he had. Now this is where things start to get interesting. People notice Wallace's work. Contractors start coming to him, offering more jobs. Before he knows it, he's building a reputation in the construction industry. It's like watching a snowball rolling down a hill, getting bigger and bigger. But wait, it gets better. Wallace doesn't stop there. He sees an opportunity and goes for it. He decides to build his first hotel, a Holiday Inn. Now, if you're thinking, Holiday Inn? I've heard of that. You're right. This little venture of Wallace's, it turns into a global brand. We're talking worldwide success, folks. Here's the kicker, and this is what I love most about Wallace's story. Years later, when he's rolling in success, someone asks him about the guy who fired him. You know what Wallace says? He says if he ever meets that person, he'd thank them. Can you believe it? He'd thank the person who kicked him when he was down, because that kick was the push he needed to become a billionaire. Now, I want you to really think about this for a second. Wallace's story isn't just about getting rich. It's about something way more important. It's about looking at life's biggest disappointments and seeing them as opportunities in disguise. It's about having the guts to take risk when everything seems lost. You see, Wallace could have given up. He could have said, well, that's it, game over. But he didn't. He took that setback and turned it into the starting line of an incredible journey. And that's the real lesson here, folks. Sometimes what feels like failure is just life's way of pointing you in a new direction. So here's my challenge to you. The next time life throws you a curveball, don't duck. Swing for the fences. Take that risk. Start that business. Chase that dream. Because you never know. That setback might just be the beginning of your own billion-dollar success story. Remember, it's not about where you start. It's about where you end up and how you get there. Wallace Johnson's story proves that with perseverance, a willingness to take risks, and a positive attitude, you can turn any situation around. So, what are you waiting for? Your next big opportunity might be just around the corner. Go out there and make it happen. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll be telling your story. Until next time, keep pushing, keep dreaming, and never, ever give up. You've got this.